Liberal Democrat MP Ed Davey, Tory MP Kwasi Kwarteng and Labour Mayor of Bristol Marvin Rees faced an intense grilling during the BBC Radio 4's Any Questions in Cheriton Fitzpaine Parish Hall in Devon. An audience member who called herself Pamela Galloway hit the MPs with a brutal question, provoking a huge response from the assembled crowd. She said, "Many around here think politicians pay little heed to rural issues. Does the panel agree that politics are too city-centred if not London-centred?" The programme's chair Jonathan Dimbleby conceded that it had been too London-centric in its coverage, but was then drowned out by rapturous applause from the audience. BBC audience erupted after a member blasted MPs for only caring about London. He then put the question to Labour Mayor of Bristol Marvin Rees, who jokingly replied, "More cities." Mr. Rees then went on, "I think it's definitely Westminster-centred. As I said, one of the realities is, I'm finding great illustration in the Brexit negotiations. The cities have not been consulted in any meaningful way. Actually we are going off to meet Michel Barnier ourselves as a collection of core cities in February to make our case. I wouldn't have a trade-off between non-Westminster-based places. It may be the case that rural areas are not heard as much. I'd imagine with a number of Labour MPs running core cities that we are not necessarily totally high on the list, even though we are totally essential to the strength of the British economy. So it may be the case that you are not heard as much as you would like, but I definitely don't think cities are heard enough." Brexiteer MP Kwasi Kwarteng took a pop at Mr. Rees' Labour Party with his response. He said, "I think you're quite right to suggest that there is a sort of inherent bias towards London in terms of how people are thinking. I don't want to make too political a point, but if you look at the Labour front bench, a lot of those MPs are centred in Islington, or Hackney, or somewhere very, very urban.